Hi everybody, welcome to Willie's American Guitars. We're in the acoustic room today and we've got a couple of cool guitars. This is a custom shop D42 and I'm going to do a video on this later on, but the D42 is kind of like half trim D45, but just a huge sounding guitar. But what I brought you here for is this. I've been waiting for a while for this to come in. There's a movement afoot on smaller bodied guitars. I think for a large body guitar, for a lot of people, and I'll use this beautiful custom shop, it can put your shoulders out a little bit. Even, I'm 6 foot tall, so even for me, you know, after a while you're playing here and you can get a little bit of, you know, buzzy hands, stiff neck. However, they're notorious for being big, loud guitars, and that's why people play them. This is a double O. So for those of you that don't know, there is a single O, which is about that much smaller, about ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch smaller, double O like this, and then a triple O, which is the same as an OM. This is a double O2H. And H stands for the herringbone trim. And what's important about that herringbone trim, it's tradition. Traditionally, anytime you see herringbone, it always means, even on Collings, Martin, Ibanez, herringbone trim means the braces underneath the top are scalloped. They're thinned out, less mass, and that allows the top to vibrate more. And you have to be careful how you place it. These days, they're very careful. When you have somebody like Collings, because it's pretty loose, you don't want it, it has to be placed right. And all your braces, including your big X brace on a herringbone guitar, are scalloped. They are carved away, and that allows the top to vibrate more. This particular guitar is huge sounding, especially when compared to the Dreadnought. Really good note-to-note separation. Now Collings makes their standard model. This is a 002, 2 meaning that it has rosewood on the back and sides. Just like your Martin, an 18 or a 1 would be mahogany. A 28 would be rosewood with the 2. So they, in some of their guitars, pattern that after traditional Martin guitars, especially pre-war era Martins. Book matched, high quality, Indian rosewood, one-piece neck, really well done, and this comes with Waverly tuners. Now, Waverly tuners, a set of tuners in a box, these are 50 bucks. Waverly tuners are 600 bucks. Let me say that again. These tuners, they could have used, and the Grover copies, 50, 60, 70 bucks for your general street level tuners. Waverly is the finest there is. Why? Magic. They're magic. That's it. There is a gearing, and the quality of the gears is machined so well that they stay in tune. There's no down tune backlash. You pull it up to tune and they stay in tune. Waverly tuners, if you're serious about playing, is something to add to your guitar. They are not cheap. We will generally, when we get Collings, ask for Waverly tuners, especially on shorter scale instruments. This is 24 7/8. So just the scale length. The distance between here and here is the scale length. A Martin generally is 25 1/4. Shorter scale ones are 24.9. Gibsons are 24 3/4. This is 24 7/8, closer to a Gibson scale, a shorter length for a Martin type instrument. And what that gets you is a little looser. looser string, a little easier to play, a little more slack. guitar too has a 1 11/16 neck. I point that out. This is probably the most important thing on this guitar. We've been trying to order more guitars with the traditional 1 11/16 neck. Your pre-CBS Strat, 1 11/16 neck. Your 59 Burst Les Paul, 1 11/16 neck. Your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s Martin guitars or Gibson guitars, right? 1 11/16 neck. It's what a lot of people are used to. It is a 1/16 of an inch narrower, but you can tell. So this is that kind of smaller neck. Not small, I mean, like I said, pre-CBS Strat, 59 Les Paul. It is the nut width that's comfortable. It's more familiar to me. I prefer it over the 1 3/4 neck. Everything seems to have 1 3/4 necks. As what happens in the music industry, people tend to follow patterns. One guy starts doing a 1 3/4 neck, and oh boy, are they doing 1 3/4 neck? We should all do 1 3/4 neck. Let's not offer any guitars without that 1 3/4 neck. So we've been ordering some a little smaller necks, more traditional. If you want to do finger styling, you might want a wider fingerboard. Some of us want that wider fingerboard, but this is a smaller body, easier to hold, scallop top, so it's got loud volume, it's got good definition, you can sing over it. Nice, loose strings, easy to play. There's no tongue brace in here, which is the brace that sits right there. It allows the top to vibrate a little more. And it's sunburst. We had them add this it's kind of a sunset, a western shade top is what they call it. So there you go. This is a brand new, just born this week, 002H. That is a 00 size, a 2 being rosewood, H being herringbone, which always means the top is scalloped with a slightly more traditional neck. And again, like you'd have on any 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s Martin, this neck that is probably more familiar to more of you than the 1 3/4 necks. And I think it's just gorgeous. So don't forget to like us, because we like you, and it's only fair. And on that, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for listening. Wait, there's one thing I got to say. Old growth spruce. So old growth Sitka spruce is on the top. Old growth means old trees, the big ones that you might see on your walk through a national park. They get wind fallen. Some of them are up to 700 years old. We get Sitka tops, but old growth tops are not that much more. I think it's about $500. That's the other thing. I forgot. So back to what you're doing.